that water, or the creek crossing. Otherwise, they're gonna plow in the south shoulder all the way up to where the tower site would be. They've got a local contractor hired to do the work that has done a lot of work, so I'm not worried about the quality, and they'll only do the work on the dirt road if the dirt road's appropriate. So I recommend approval of the utility permit for REC.
Make a motion to approve the permit.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bulls eye.
Thanks, sir.
That's all I had.
Before, Myron, Dale,
Yes.
Tracy, can I ask a quick question? That road 32nd Avenue going south, off of 30, Old Becker corner there, going south,
Yep.
going to the estates. When is that planned for? To be blacktop?
This calendar year, or seal coated,
Seal coated? Okay, that'll
but
be,
I wanna do some snow trap improvements, and I'm working on meeting with 3 of the property owners on that road where I would get most of the dirt before they get
Okay.
started. I'm planning on how I'm gonna go about doing that, but
Okay.
we plan on doing a bunch of the work ourselves, but not all of it, but to be done between now and fall.
all right. I had some people who were interested to live down there, so.
I'll talk to you later, Dave, about the sidewalk and there.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
One quick question. Would you have somebody take a peek at the road south of Blairstown around that S-curve by the cemetery?
Sure.
I guess there's some potholes and some drop-offs there.
Okay.
I haven't seen it myself, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Will do.
Okay.
You got a question, Ron? It's just nice to see you.
We thought it was gonna be quick.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from last week? Both sets.
Did we need a clarification on the price?
I'm fixing it.
She's fixing it.
She's got it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. Tracy brought it to my attention. Other than that,
Tracy's a
everything
good
looked good.
proofreader.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
I would second them.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bulls eye.
About the
Those were
claims.
both sets, right?
Yes,
Yes.
both sets.
Yeah.
EMS claims.
I did look through the EMS claims. I didn't make a motion to approve the EMS claims.
You have to read them, don't
Yeah, we
Yep.
list them out. You want Tracy's folder?
I had Tracy's folder. Okay. EMS claims are as follows. We have North Benton Ambulance for $644.57. Garrison First Responders for $40. Keystone First Responders for $126.18. Garrison First Responders for $205.51. 2 claims from North Benton Ambulance. No, 1 claim from North Benton right here. That claim is for $2,357.89. 2 claims from Belle Plaine. First claim is for $2,573.66. Second claim is for $199.73. We have another claim from North Benton for $714.99. Blairstown Ambulance for $159.99. Van Horn First Responders has 3. The first one is $198.99, then $7,950, and the third one is for $549.56. And then a payment to Life Med Safety for North Benton vehicle for $25,000. Grand total is $40,721.07.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Bulls eye.
Okay. 9:05, we're a little bit late.
Me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm waiting for my partner to come, but I guess.
Resolution.
Thank you. Well, my name is Saterica, I'm with Review Center. We are a sexual assault agency. We are based in downtown Cedar Rapids, so we cover 14 counties. I am the advocate for Benton County. I am here, this week I'll be here twice a week. Probably, last week I didn't get home until 5:45. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we are, let's see, it's March, so tomorrow we will start Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Any updates for Benton County or Riverview Center is, I am doing a volleyball, like a Mad Hatter, so what that is, it's at Sandlot in Cedar Rapids. So you just come and you just play volleyball, and we are just donating non-perishable items and hygiene products to sexual assault survivors. This is proclamation I'm gonna read. Are they signing this one, or are they signing the one on there?
They'll sign that one.
Perfect, okay.
Because then it goes in our minutes.
Perfect. Sexual assault affects women, children, and men of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds. In addition to the immediate physical and emotional costs, sexual assault may also have associated consequences of post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, depression, homelessness, eating disorders, and suicide. And sexual assault can be devastating not only to the survivor, but also for the family, friends, and community of the survivors. And since no one person, organization, agency, or community can eliminate sexual assault on their own, we must work together to educate our entire population about what can be done to prevent sexual assault, support survivors and their significant others, and support those agencies providing services to survivors. Now therefore, we the board of, oh wait, do I read that or do you read that?
Nope.
I do?
Well,
go
it's
ahead.
basically you, the board, would approve it, so.
Now therefore, we, the Board of Supervisors, in and for Benton County, on behalf of all staff and citizens of Benton County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In Benton County, Iowa, encourage all citizens to learn more about preventing sexual violence. Sign this day, 31st day of March 2026.
We need a motion?
Yes, I do.
I would make a motion to approve resolution 26-20.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Rules time.
Let me give her a copy.
Yeah.
Did you take one picture?
Sure.
I think you've done that.
We have them on the past. I didn't do my hair this one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, he's signing that one.
We'll take two.
We'll take two?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hang on through.
Do you want to stand with you? Just like you want to stand with her? I'll get you guys a picture with the board.
Okay.
Do you want me to use your phone?
Yeah, you can use my phone. I don't know why. I thought you were gonna use your phone.
Then I'll do mine. They sign it, and then you guys can stand for a picture. Board, want to sit up?
They said, if you make this. Oh, yeah, that was like. Thank you. Any questions? Have a good week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We don't have enough time to discuss. How about, discuss that public hearing date?
So I would like to set that for Tuesday, April 21st at 9:30.
I got a message that the video is black.
The airport, I guess we get a few minutes, I can discuss that. I was asked to attend the Vinton City Council meeting on that. Their problem is, last fiscal year, it cost them right around $127,000 to operate the airport, and it only brought in $99,000, so they were $30,000 short. So they were curious about if we enter in an agreement or a 28E with them to help support the airport. So we're just discussing it now, we're not gonna vote on anything or make any, I'm just letting you guys know what I intended. They would like us to, help them out, join a partner. So just bring it to your attention.
Okay? Is this something they'd be willing to have a meeting so we would know what they're receiving for rent? And I have no idea what the rates are for.
Yeah, see, I don't know either. All I know is I got the bottom dollars. That it cost $127,000 to operate it. And between, grants and the fees that they charge, they brought in $99,000. So they're almost $30,000 short.
And I don't know if runways are redone with some sort of DOT grant or how they do that.
That's with FFA, or no, not FFA,
AA.
yeah, that's the one. The only hangup on that, when you start getting federal money, you can't close it a few years down the road, or else you're gonna have to pay that money back. There's strings attached to the federal money.
And right now, the user fee is based on how often you land and take off?
No, there's no user fee, as long as you use the hangar.
But if somebody just,
You know, I guess the only, I can't say for sure, but the business, Click Stop, they use that quite often, I guess. Letting people in. So I'm just bringing you guys,
is that controlled by the Cedar Rapids Tower?
no. No. And see, that's the other thing is that is also approved runway, that if there's an aircraft having mechanical problems, it could land out here.
Why not? And can handle the weight.
It's someplace, you know, in case there's a problem with an aircraft, they can't make it to Cedar Rapids. They can come to that runway and land. All right. Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much.
Tim and Jamie Whitehead are seeking approval to change the use of approximately 1 acre of land to allow for a pole building with living quarters. The property is located approximately 2.5 miles southeast of Urbana at 3391 56th Street Trail, Center Point, Iowa, within the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 12, Township 85 North, Range 9 West, within Polk Township. The proposal concerns a 3.89 parcel which the applicant owns. The entire area of this request has a considerability rating below 70, so it is not considered high-quality farmland. In addition, the proposal involves removing an existing garage and constructing a pole building with living quarters in the same location. There's timberland, pasture, and ag row crops to the north, pastureland, timberland, and single-family dwellings to the east and west, a farmstead, agricultural crops, and pastureland to the south. Access to the property will be via an existing driveway on the west end of the property, which will be extended. The driveway was reviewed and approved by Dan McKenna from Secondary Roads. The existing driveway may be extended up to 44 feet east of the southwest corner survey pin and still maintain proper side distance. The property is accessed from 56th Street Trail, a gravel county road with an average annual daily traffic count of 150 vehicles. The new structure will require a new septic system which will be permitted by the department. The existing private well will continue to be utilized. 5 notification letters were sent to adjacent property owners and legal notices were published in Benton County's official newspapers as required by ordinance. The Benton County Land Use received 1 complaint regarding the western property line and driveway. We also received a letter this morning which I will read at the end of my summary. This request is located on a parcel that currently has a single-family dwelling. In addition, the parcel is buffered from agricultural operations by timberland. Therefore, this request is not likely to interfere seriously with farm operations in the area. The surrounding area is primarily agricultural with scattered farmsteads and single-family dwellings. This request should not materially alter the stability of the overall land use pattern in the area. According to the Benton County Land Preservation and Use Plan, it is policy to provide limited and low-density single-family dwellings within the general rural use area upon a fair and equitable evaluation. For the reasons reported, this request has been found to be consistent with this policy and all other applicable policies of the plan. I'm now going to read the complaint letter submitted this morning. It reads, to address and oppose land use change of a part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 12, Township 85 North, Range 9 West of the 5th Farm Region. This land is owned by Tim and Jamie Whitehead of 624 Lincoln County, Center Point, Iowa. I am ready to discuss the topic and my concerns of the property line that you have been encroaching on. I have concerns with some alignment issues that I believe should be clarified. Understanding the exact boundaries of our property is important for all of us, and it can prevent any misunderstandings in the future. The issue is with the fence, chicken coop, and bridge. These items are encroaching on my property. Most of the current fence has already been removed by others prior to the Whiteheads. I would like to construct a wood and steel post fence with 4 or 5 barbs. This partition fence will distinguish property lines and therefore making permanent and correct boundary for your survey that you had done in 2023. Chapter 359A covers fences. There are also have been piles of debris and other items pushed onto my land. There has been a bridge constructed on my property without any permission, and this becomes a liability issue and trespassing issue. There has been a pond built on the Whitehead property, and the backing of water onto my property is illegal per Iowa Code 468. From what I can tell, it appears that the dike will have to be lowered 10 feet to address this issue, therefore releasing me from any liability or any accident or trespassing on my property. This pond also pushes water approximately 200 feet back on my land, changing the natural drainage. With Tim and White and Jamie Whitehead property being listed as an Airbnb under Blue Creek Cabin without a distinctive and visibility border and fence, I'm sure, in my opinion, guests will be trespassing and become a liability for your neighbors. As advertised, with fishing on this pond, which is backing up on my property along with your walk bridge, has created a liability for me. There's also a driveway that has been installed on my property without permission on the southwest corner. I'm sure in the future with this land use change, there will need to be another driveway or that driveway extended. This can be solved also neighborly. This making it easier for the secondary road department. I would appreciate it if we could work together and resolve the above issues in a friendly and neighborly manner. I, Jessica, would like to come to an agreement in a polite and neighborly manner. I have my land lease to Vic Jones, and he has a power of attorney on my land. Vic will be helping me on this dispute and encroachment issue. Working together as neighbors would be the most sensible way to do this for all parties involved. We have contacted trustees for Polk Township, and they have been in touch with the Benton County attorney. They are considered a third-party imitator. I would appreciate that the Benton County Department of Land Use Administration shall not pass a land use change until the illegal water and land encroachments are addressed and corrected. That's the end of the letter, signed Jessica Brunel on March 27. I would like to add that they mentioned that the driveway was installed on the property without their permission. That driveway has been there since at least 1961. There used to be a house there. And the pond has been there for about 20 years or so, right?
Maybe since 2002.
At least since 2002. And I believe Vic and Jessica are here present. And so.
Yes. There is no statute of limitations on doing things wrong, even legal. It doesn't make any difference when any of that is done. But now that we're trying to, or continuing on with another subject, let's address what's going on previously and get it taken care of. That is our opinion.
So the Whiteheads are able to extend the driveway that is split in between their property and Jessica's property up to 44 feet. That way they'll be able to utilize that without going towards Jessica's property.
Doesn't there have to be permission by the owner for that portion of the driveway to extend it?
They're gonna be extended towards their property, not towards Jessica's property.
It was surveyed in 23.
We surveyed it when we bought it 3 years ago, and I think everybody was surprised the property line shifted about 10 feet to the right for pretty much everybody on that road, I believe.
But he also, the Scott's surveyor said that the chicken coop is not on it, it's on our property. The bridge is on our property also. And you can contact him, because we did pay for it, the Scott surveyor. So, but he did, because I was out there with him when he showed us in the driveway. It was like in the middle of it, and then it goes off diagonal. So, I had asked him that, like, oh my gosh, you know, are these on her property? And he said no.
In regard to the actual application, really, it's simplest form is we're removing an existing pole barn that's there. We're building one slightly bigger that's gonna go towards our property, it's along with the septic that meets code. It doesn't encroach on any property lines, it doesn't impact any neighbors' use of land.
Obviously, if I can speak again, on the aerial, it's pretty obvious. The aerials are not perfect, they're satellite imaging. We've seen the pins, the trustees have seen the pins. It's not, it's on Jessica's property. Very visual, I've seen all the pins on the north, south, and the middle, between Dewey's and their property. Maybe the board ought to go take a look before making this decision.
You can contact Scott Surveyor. He did it. It was paid for. And that I think he's done quite a few in Benton County. So he's the one that had told me.
And any fencing that's there. has been there for
Excuse
years.
me, I'm Jessica, but nobody came and said to me that
That would.
the bridge was on your property. These were where the pins were.
Who's telling you that the bridge?
I'm saying, when you had it surveyed,
They don't have to. I paid for it.
I understand that. But you said they came and told you that everything,
Because I met with him, because he wanted to go through the lines with me.
okay,
And that's when I questioned, like, is anything on Jessica's property? And he said, no, it is not.
but
So
it
that's
shows
why
like,
we didn't contact you, because nothing's on your property.
okay.
Derek.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're just asking to look at land usage, not lines, because lines is a private, because it's abutting private owners, we have no jurisdiction over that, because it's between the two property owners. Like, we're just talking about what is the use of the land being used for. And if it doesn't encroach another person's land, then there shouldn't be a issue. It's when it crosses over, that becomes an issue, because then you can't satisfy an application for someone else's land. Makes sense, right? But as far as like line disagreements, that's not within the purview of this ordinance to make a decision on that. That's between private landowners. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Trustee's been involved in this, right?
Of course, the letter says, spoke to me, they did, asking about the procedure for it, and I said, usually it's, try to do it amongst themselves, and if there's continued disagreement, then the trustees come in and perform the chapter 359 of the Iowa Code as far as like distinguishing where the fence line should be in payment of that in accordance with those rules.
And that specifically, chapter 359A specifically says the jurisdiction falls on the township trustees. They're the fence viewers.
Because that's the point of them. Just try to figure that out.
So the pay sharing is just for the building.
That is correct.
How much larger is the new building gonna be than the existing one?
What was the question?
How long is the new building?
60 by 80. 60 by 80.
And currently it's,
I believe 40 by 60. Roughly around there.
And it goes towards our property.
so the extra building's gonna go to the east from where it is. I'm just looking at the green slashes on here, it shows that it's, but that's not true to what we're looking at, okay.
Actually, one more thing. Doing this or passing this is saying compliance to what's already been done illegally. And it's just making it okay. It's the way I feel. It's pretty simple to take care of the issue with running the air and D&B and trying to protect the property from trespassing. And now we're gonna, if we pass this, or if you guys pass this, is to go ahead and put in a new septic and build another building. The previous work was okay being done on somebody else's property. You know, it's simple, let's put up a boundary that is established and visual to keep people from trespassing and violating your neighbor's property. We spoke earlier, a year ago, and that got nowhere.
Is there a fence right now separating this?
It's been pushed out by probably Dewey, but, no. On down towards the pond, yes, there's a fence down there. A very old fence.
There's kind of a broken fence all along that wooded line, where the property line was assumed originally. I believe at some point the plat pins were GPS relocated and shifted everything. But the existing fence wasn't put in illegally. It was where the property lines were at the time.
The original pin is in that driveway, the one that Scott did, I believe his name. There's another pin, the old one, the original, so far away. That was put in, got on the motor. So it's not a movement or something done wrong by Scott or, on the survey. It's there, always been.
So the big thing is since there was a survey done, that's the controlling in a sense, unless the court says otherwise, which is going back to my point of like, if there's an issue, you guys sit outside of the purview here. And given that, if this is what we have currently, that's what we have to go off of. And if it's within that, then, we're just discussing whether land use is proper. Because I'm assuming you have a copy of it right there, right?
And you said this is operated as an Airbnb?
The existing house on there,
And
to the east.
And plans are, we will be moving out there, when we built this, so that is our plans.
So the demolition of one building and the construction of a new building falls within our ordinance. And everything is fine there,
That limits the policies of the land use ordinance.
okay? And then the property line dispute,
That's not ours.
that's not ours. Correct, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
And all the expansion of the land use change is going to be towards the east, nothing going towards the west.
In terms of what the parameters that we have and what's been presented, I don't see a problem with what they want to do. All the other things are out of our hands.
I agree with Bruce.
When was the last time that the trustees met on this?
It's been a week ago that I met with them out there, and,
Is it very official notice and stuff like that, or just diving into the starting process of it?
So it's just starting.
It's just starting? Is it just starting, or is there fence viewing going, or?
I have no knowledge
Yeah,
of any
nobody's-
meeting.
Okay, yeah.
We did get, Vic, had told us to put a fence up when we first bought it and said we had to, and, so that's the last that we,
Okay.
because I had told him, well, we'll talk to our attorney, she said, no, we do not. So, that's all we've heard. So-
Okay, I was just trying to get a perspective of like the fence viewing duties and stuff, so, okay.
Jessica and I talked to Jamie about a year ago about fencing, after they purchased it, and thought, well, let's get this fixed, for an Airbnb to try to maintain some sort of visual property line and respect for the other person, and being people out of town coming to rent a place. And the last thing, I'll talk to my lawyer, and that's as far as I got. I called Jamie 2 weeks ago, and from what I understood, she texted me back saying, well, we're in the right, we don't have to, so.
I don't believe that's what I said.
Well,
Okay.
And that's not our,
I can read it to him if you'd like.
No, you want.
that's not even open for debate for us.
It's not our,
Yeah,
We don't have anything to do with that.
Well, gentlemen, can we make a motion?
I feel we make the motion, my opinion is I will make the motion to approve the land use for this new structure.
I'll second.
Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
I'm gonna say no.
Bullseye.
Okay. Okay, 9:40.
Before I vote.
Yep, all right, more.
Council Heron, I am seeking a variance for the ordinance pertaining to a paved road for subdivision. And it will be for vacant property between 59th Street Trail and 61st Street Lane, 33rd South. Yeah, so I was advised to contact you guys and see if that was even an option before I go forward with the subdivision of 3, 4 parcels. I believe it, I don't know what you guys see there, it looks to be just under a half mile. I haven't checked with the county if that, they consider that road to the north of 59th Street an actual paved road. It looks to be asphalt. It's not the best asphalt. To the south is paved. It's roughly 3/4 mile from there to the south.
The closest paved road is 61st Street Lane.
I believe the one. They don't consider it, so even that's just.
Yeah. It looked like it's had, seal coat put on it over the years.
Yeah, that one where the original south is there. I couldn't tell if it's seal coat or asphalt, kind of busted up pretty bad.
You guys are familiar with this area?
Yeah, for sure. Can you show us on the map?
So, yeah, so it's gonna be right over here on 31st Avenue there, just north of 61st Street Lane there. So about a mile west of the Urbana Shellsburg Blacktop, north of the county home over there. And you're looking at purchasing the 100
Yeah, I want the
28
contract to close here shortly, regardless of whether it passes my line. So,
and just looking at doing those splits and that
Oh.
quarter section on the road. Sure.
yes. I don't know if this is something we do with here as the time comes, for the parcel size, they're gonna be pretty big. Like 10 and 8.
Yeah, and then I gave him that. That was one they got that, yep, that one there. So,
Yeah.
that's,
Those parcels are not set in stone, but I would make sure.
So what you're asking for right now is variance on the paved
paved
road?
road, yes.
Because you haven't laid out any lots or anything yet?
He said this is the first step I should take.
Yeah. You're buying 160 there? 120. And you're gonna subdivide all that out?
Now I would probably do what, roughly what is on your sheet,
Okay.
and maybe the 8 is split it down the middle. Maybe so 37 off, and I'll retain the 64 to the north.
It's factor ground,
yep,
All
yeah.
that pasture.
and CSR is what?
30s, low 30s.
It's very steep.
Yeah.
You're almost at there.
I would go.
Good. Gentlemen?
I do not have a problem with the variance.
I'd have to rely on what you guys, I don't know what you said the road is currently. Seal coated?
It's gravel.
It's a gravel road.
It's gravel. But they got seal coat to the north and to the south.
And the south is asphalt.
Asphalt, yeah, county home rule. In fact, it was just done a year ago,
Yeah.
Yep,
maybe two.
at the most, 2 to 3 at the most.
Okay,
So I'm looking at this wrong. Where's the paved road?
down south.
This way?
Yeah.
That's the paved road?
So this is the gravel road, sorry. So this would be the county home road down here.
Okay,
This would be the Pavement, Shelburne, Blacktop, running along there.
okay.
And then 59 Street Trail, we got quite a few houses over there, so most of this is the.
And this is the gravel road here?
Yeah.
Yes, this is gravel run down between this two.
Okay.
This is the chip seal, and that's the.
Okay.
asphalt road down there.
Thank you.
We haven't let other ones do this in the past.
I don't see a problem changing
And that would be, so it's clear that probably not something the county's gonna change their mind on, that we're gonna go in and blacktop that road. It's just not gonna happen. It will remain gravel forever. In my opinion.
it. So did you make a motion? for
I would make a motion.
Is this the resolution 2621?
Yes, it is.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Rules aye. Does Ron have a copy?
I do. Okay. That's what I got.
Usually what we'll do is we'll put it.
This one?
Yes.
Good. Thank you guys.
Yep. Then we have his statement.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've had a busy morning. There you are.
All right, next on the agenda, Jan Shear.
Yep. Is it okay if I sit here?
You bet.
Okay. Good morning. My
Morning.
name is Jane Shear, and I reside on Maple Grove Farm with my husband at 3388 73rd Street in Benton County.
I am before you today with residents, landowners, businesses, and citizens concerned about the Morgan Valley Power Plant, which has been proposed by Alliant on the Benton County line at the intersection of Highway 30. Our home is across the road. The property lines from our property to the proposed site is 30 yards. Our goal is to educate the population within the 10-mile impact zone and assist with questions and comment filing on the IUC site, and to engage local government for help. Hopefully you received and reviewed the Alliant presentation that was emailed to you. This was provided by the Fairfax Council, along with the recording link. There are so many unanswered questions which Alliant is willing to address. Can you imagine the impact of pollution? Air, light, sound, smell, 24 hours a day. Detrimental to people, animals, livestock, farmland, watershed, wells, birds, insects, trees, the list goes on. I was wondering if this would happen to be like living next to ADM. We drive by ADM all the time. You have all those elements. And the plant would run 24 hours a day. You're not just driving by. Atkins and Fairfax are the target of the prevailing winds. There is a 10-mile impact radius. So this does not stop at the Linn-Benton County line that apparently Linn County and Alliant thinks it does. So think of all the communities and the towns that are impacted by this. Did I mention safety? How about the pipeline of high-pressure gas that will run under the ground across people's properties? Now that the general picture has been painted, what is Benton County going to do in response to this threat? That's why we're here today, along with other people who are concerned citizens who would like to speak after me or in the public comment section. There's a real urgency. Alliant has minimum of, 30 days. Alliant has to provide their application. So then the ball gets rolling. You find out the calendar. Are you willing? What are you guys willing to do? I mean, here are some of my questions. Are you filing a setback ordinance for Benton County for this type of zoning? Is there one already? You probably read what Linn County has done already. Plus, it's exceptions. Filing an injunction to slow the process down until Benton community can obtain the requested information. Where's Alliant today to do a presentation? Has there been outreach to the Linn County Supervisors or to Alliant, which I had heard that you had reached out with no impact? This impact does not stop at the county line. It is far-reaching. Has there been outreach to the impacted towns? Atkins, and even goes up to Shellsburg. Walford. Have you talked to these town governments about how we can mobilize and how they can, their statements about whether they agree with the plant? Have studies been obtained from Alliant to support their due diligence regarding the environment, or any information about why they selected this proposed site, which my cohorts will give you a lot of information on why this is a bad deal for everybody. So it's just a life-changing proposal for everyone. And they'll speak to the size of this monster. 720 megawatts. It's going to be the highest carbon generating plant in the state. And it's not going to help the residents. It's all about the money, the data centers, and that. And did you know, just a mile south, there's something going on there. We don't know if it's a battery plant or if it's a data center. And I just read a study with data centers. They can raise the temperature of the land 6 miles away. I mean, you can think of what it can do to the climate and the farmers, and if that's more your bent. I've also We've also put together these sheets with Facebook page and email address to our group. There's copies over there, I can pass them out. And I'd like to pass around this 10-mile impact area so you guys can look at it and have a better understanding. So I'd like to, John Lee is going to speak briefly because he has to get going, correct? Yeah. And so we'd like answers. So what are you guys going to do? How are you going to help with this? Because it's your responsibility. Thank you.
My name is John Lee. My home is at 2510 Sisters Grove Road. I'm just over the county line. I live in Lynn County. But my property is immediately adjacent to the Morgan Valley power plant site. And that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. From my home, my 3 daughters can walk out our back door and walk through our backyard and right to where this power plant is being built without crossing a road. I want to share a concern that I think is important to have clearly on the record. That concern is that the project is being evaluated without any site-specific baseline air and weather monitoring at the homes closest to the site. I'm not here to debate conclusions or outcomes. What I'm trying to do is understand how site-specific conditions at nearby homes are being evaluated without site-specific data. Right now, I've not been able to identify any baseline air and weather data collected at the residence closest to the site. Without that baseline testing, without the baseline data, there's no way to understand whether localized conditions, such as air settling and temperature inversions, could affect how emissions behave at nearby homes. There's also no way to verify whether the modeling reflects actual conditions on the ground or to measure impact later. That's not just a concern for my home. That's a broader issue about how projects like this are evaluated anywhere they are proposed. Even though this project is located in Lynn County, the process and precedent don't stop at the county line. And I believe that matters to Benton County as well. I'm asking whether the board would consider formally requesting that site-specific baseline air and weather monitoring be conducted at nearby residents before the project moves forward. I'm also asking for your help. I'm asking for your help in making sure that concern is raised clearly with the Iowa Utilities Commission, so the decisions are being made with complete and accurate information. Thank you for your time and consideration. Happy to discuss this if there's questions.
Have you attended any of the Lynn County Supervisors meetings?
Yes, sir. I was there yesterday, made a statement similar to what I'm saying, a little more long-winded, addressing some of the concerns.
Can I speak?
Yes.
My name is Joey Hopkins. I'm a Benton County property owner. Lions picked a terrible location for this huge power plant. It is my understanding they have declined to come to the city of Atkins and explain their siting. The site is 30 feet from Benton County. Will have a major impact on both sides of the line. We need your help as our elected officials. Benton County needs protection and requirement and representation on this issue. I urge you to consider a resolution against this site and to consider a 2.25 mile or greater setback ordinance. as well as a 2080 agreement with Lynn County for the setback enforcement. Time is of the essence in this situation. Lion is trying to move very quickly and keeping it very quiet in Benton County. The CSR, this parcel is in Lynn County, but I know you guys are, as some of us are, very concerned about CSR. It's 95 on parts of this parcel. The entire parcel averages out to almost 90. This is like almost as top quality farm ground as you could find anywhere. And I'm guessing, I haven't researched it, but right across the line, I'm guessing it's probably similar because the whole area is like that. The intersection at that site is already dangerous, more dangerous than many intersections right there in that area. It's terrible. There was just an accident this past weekend, a rollover at that exact intersection. So, echoing their words, we need you guys as our supervisors to get Benton County involved in this process. It's literally right next door to us, to Lynn County. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Martha Shear. I'm here in representation of my mother, Donna Shear, who lives on the farm on the Highway 30 and the Benton-Lynn County line, and the family has lived there. It is a heritage farm, and it has been recognized as such. And so I'm here representing her. She's not able to be here. First of all, Alliant claimed they did their due diligence, and their due diligence was that they only had to contact people in Lynn County and let Lynn County know. So when we went to the meeting at Kirkwood, many of us were completely blindsided from Benton County of the location of this plant, particularly my mother and my sister and brother-in-law who live on the property that is 30 yards from this power plant. But the fact that Alliant and the way it's stated that they can say that this county line means that they do not have to notify you or Benton County, is that okay? What happened to good neighborly Iowa values that's an arbitrary line we as people have drawn to create governments and structures, but we know that that doesn't hold back all the pollution and negative effects of this power plant. The stacks, there'll be 3 of them, will be a minimum stated by Alliant of 150 feet, but it can go higher than that. What's that do for not just all the pollution, but also the aesthetics and taking valuable farmland out of production? We're asking Benton County, you guys, to put an injunction to slow it down so Benton County has time to get their questions answered, because we know what the prevailing winds. Iowa's windy. There's a flag at the farm. We know always where the wind is blowing. And Lynn County is screwing their own people because the wind's blowing that direction a lot, going toward a lot of Lynn County communities, but it also blows a lot toward Atkins. It blows up that direction. So communities like Atkins and Shellsburg and all the people, that county line area has a lot of residents there. It's not just our farm. There's many residents up and down the county line. Atkins is spreading down to the south. So all these people are going to be affected, their health, their, again, the land, and the light and sound, all of this. And we're asking you to go to Lynn County and say, what happened to good neighbors? Okay, good neighbors, this line does not stop this stuff. You guys needed to be just as involved as Lynn County. And we're asking, yes, that, on the Benton County side, the setback is much, much less than it is on Lynn County. Why isn't it the same on our side? Or why can't we say, well, our setback is bigger, we have to negotiate this. So we're asking that you do this, to slow this process down and to protect the people of Benton County, because you guys are some of the only places that we have to turn to, because Lynn County doesn't care about what's going on in Benton County. They're showing that. So we're just asking that you do everything you can so that that everybody gets the information, and that Alliant is forced to do what they need to do to protect everybody, because they'll just go on to the next power plant and then we get to deal with the fallout, the health issues. We don't know what it's going to do to the crops and the land as the pollution is dumped on. And again, and then you put the gas lines that are running through, and we know that those can be a problem. I was already seeing one explosion this year of an underground gas pipeline. So there's a lot going on here, and of course, I have my family farm, and my family has been in this area for a long time and has been very community-minded and very community-supportive. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us and hearing us and taking on this fight with us.
Can I say a couple more things? So to your question, I've been to all four of the supervised meetings in the county. So I have a lot of knowledge on the situation. I've been researching it and investigating. So any questions you have, I can't answer all of them, but I maybe can answer more than some people. To the point on prevailing winds, if you draw a straight line, as you all know, north-northwest, south-southwest is the two wind directions in Iowa. You draw north-northwest, south-southwest line from Atkins to Fairfax, that line will literally go through the center of this plant. So it is exactly on the prevailing wind line, so that part of the time it's going to get Fairfax, a Lynn County community, and the other time it's going to get Atkins, a Benton County community. Thank you.
May I make some comments, please? Sure. Well, here, so you don't have to turn around and look at me. My name is John Zachrasic, and I live in Lynn County, and I've been engaged in work on trying to do things to clean up the way we produce energy for a long, long time. I've been to all of the Lynn County supervisor meetings that dealt with both the data center ordinances and the gas-fired power plant ordinances, trying to make sure those are put in place in such a way that it won't be so hard on us as citizens of the area. So I wanted to talk to you about two things. One is energy costs, and the other one is the amount of emissions these plants produce compared to what you currently have. So I'll take the second one first. So right now, in Benton County, you guys produce about 600,000 metric tons of emissions each year. This one power plant running 60% of the time will produce 2 million metric tons of emissions. So it's going to more than triple the emissions that are going to be here in the area. That's nasty. And it's going to be 30% more than the emissions in Lynn County, which are very high already. So Alliant Energy has had goals to reduce those emissions over time, to make things better for all of us, so that our crops can grow more reliably year to year, so we can all be healthier. But they're not doing it now, they're taking us the other direction. And then the other thing that's going to affect everybody is pricing of natural gas. So this one plant is going to use 1.2 times as much natural gas as every resident, business, and industry in all of Lynn County. 1.2 times. So it's more than doubling it. And then we've got the liquid natural gas terminals that are going to be built to ship natural gas out of the United States. And then we've got global coupling, so that now natural gas prices are going to be driven by demand across the globe. So if some foreign country wants to pay more for natural gas to get it from us, they'll do that, and the companies will send it there, driving up our prices. So estimates are that natural gas pricing over the next 5 years is likely to go up by 25%, if things are just kind of normal. But if we get into these other conditions that create a lot more risk for the pricing, it could go up by 141%. So imagine what that's gonna do to people's gas bills and to the cost of propane. So many of the rural residents have to rely on propane, and you know how that goes up when natural gas goes up in price. So Alliant Energy has responsibility to show all the alternatives they've researched. What about alternatives that use no fuel and no water? What about those? Have you looked at them? What do those cost? How would they affect our communities? So I've been demanding that they put together a study that shows they've looked at all those alternatives. And the Iowa Utility Commission does require that they show they've looked at those alternatives. So that may be a way for you to engage, is to, let's get the facts. Let's see what else you looked at and see what's going to be best for our community. Because it's those data centers that are causing this problem. One data center, the QTS one outside, southeast side of Cedar Rapids, is 1.2 million square feet. That's a building covering 28 acres. Can you even believe that? That one data center is going to consume 180 megawatts of energy around the clock. This isn't like a building where you have a certain peak load during the day. Your load looks like that. This is like that, flat as a pancake. And of course, they're exhausting enormous amounts of heat because all of these electronics produce a lot of heat. And they either have to water cool or they have to have a closed loop cooling system, and that uses more energy, the closed loop cooling system. At least it doesn't impact their water. But we need to be talking about these data centers and the impacts they're having on us in this community. And this isn't the last gas plant that's going to be built, and they're being built all over the United States. And you know when demand goes up that fast, like it is with these thousands of data centers across the United States, it's going to drive up gas prices, and it's going to hurt all of us as we try to get through our lives. So thank you very much for listening, and hopefully we can work together across counties and across cities to make sure that things are done in a way that's going to be good for all of us. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and make some comments as well. Okay, so I'm more or less, I'm just a resident, but my parents are in fact landowners here in Benton County. We live on 74th Street Drive. So we in theory can see the power plant right outside of the lovely new picture window we put into our living room, since we're on the hill above it. We weren't told about the power plant, and I find that very concerning and somewhat insulting that because we're in another county, even though we're in clear visibility lines, nobody from Alliant thought they needed to tell us about this. I've just been sitting in this meeting listening to what people have to go through to change zoning approvals here. How they have to put legal notices out, how they have to send notifications. We didn't get any of that. The only reason I knew to go to the Kirkwood informational meeting is because people that are here came and knocked on my door and said, hey, did you know they're going to build a power plant right outside your backyard? It's a county line. So yes, it's in Lynn County. But as you look at previous sites they've looked at, and as you look at the plans, I'm not sure they could have chosen a site more guaranteed to put the costs of the power plant on people who aren't getting any of the benefits. We don't use Alliant Energy. Everybody around them for the most part are rural energy. They say they're going to have to bring in the Cedar Rapids water. Because guess what? Everybody around them's on well water. We don't have city water out there. We don't have city waste disposal. Apparently, they're planning on using Atkins EMS was one of the questions they answered. And I can tell you, as somebody who lives right out at the edge of that, technically my address is Fairfax, even though I'm in Benton County. That is a long way, and that EMS department is not going to be getting there very quickly. Other people have already pointed out the issue with accidents on the interstate they chose. It's also on the Lynn Benton County
line road, which is a gravel road, that they want to put this big industrial site on. It can barely handle the school bus traffic that comes through it in the winter. And they want to put an industrial site there without, it sounds like, talking to Benton County. And that is incredibly concerning that they don't seem to want to involve Benton or Atkins at all. Cedar Rapids, as has been pointed out, this is for the data centers. There's absolutely no question about that. You just have to look at the fact that this would be a bigger site than the nuclear, or a bigger generator than the nuclear power plant. And before the data centers, the nuclear power plant was considered something we didn't even need. But now we need what, like 4 times that energy is what the total is going to be. So they want to build their biggest power plant right on the line between Benton and Lynn, and yet they don't want to include Benton County at all. None of that suggests this is going to be a beneficial plan. None of it suggests they plan on putting in the type of environmental controls you would expect for something like this. None of it says that they care about the residents around at all. It suggests they're trying to find the easiest site with the lowest resistance instead of properly engaging with all the communities involved. That it's very concerning as somebody who will be within eye line of the site that is also, for some reason, not as technologically advanced as the one they proposed for Fairfax. It's even a little bit smaller in generation power than the one they proposed in Fairfax because the more advanced version has better efficiency, so would use less gas. But no, they want to stick a basic, almost out-of-date oil, gas burning power plant right on the county line and not talk to Benton County about it.
Thank you. So Benton County is the first responder. Atkins is the closest community. The road costs, there's gonna be, road costs and other infrastructure costs are gonna be borne by Benton County. Benton County gets no benefit from this. There's no tax revenues. The power plant taxes are calculated differently than other property taxes, but still doesn't go to Benton County because of siting. Iowa is currently and has been for years, net positive energy producer. We have 10 to 14% net positive. So we produce 10 to 14% more power currently than we need. That power is shipped elsewhere. Missouri is net negative historically every year. So a lot of our power generated goes to Missouri. This plant is not going to produce power for Iowans. It's not even going to necessarily produce power for the data centers because they came here already knowing that we have a net positive. So they got plenty of power to run these plants. This is an alliance money grab, is my opinion, that they see the opportunity to produce more power, and this power is actually going to be exported from Iowa.
The only thing I'll mention, Jay, because that has been the case in the past, we built a lot of power and exported. But these data centers that I'm talking about, they're 18 planned. And rough computations of how much energy they're going to use is 1.8 gigawatts. Right now, Alliant Energy is desperately trying to get as much energy built as fast as they can because of this. They're building another plant up in Marshalltown as well. You're aware of that. And of course, the reopening of the nuclear plant.
With a second reactor is now planned in at the nuke plant. There's going to be 2 reactors.
I've been hearing about that interest.
They originally built the plant to house 2 reactors. They never ever put the second one in, but the infrastructure is in there. I heard they literally have, the reactor comes in something that is so wide, they have to ship it at a few miles at a time because it's the entire road. That is either already here or is in process of getting here. There'll be 2 reactors at the nuke plant at some point. Lynn County changed their ordinance. It used to say nuclear facility, and they now pluraled that word. the facilities, so they know something about an additional reactor or facility, nuclear facility within Lynn County.
I also wanted to add about the Marshalltown additional plants. These plants don't have a huge footprint. There's 164 acres that are the size of the site. There's certainly potential, and they've shown with Marshalltown, they can just put in another plant. And I'm sure that's already, you know, they don't need 164 acres. So if this baby goes, you're gonna have twice as much of that stuff going on. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Marshalltown plant has 1,400 acres at their site that Alliant has grabbed. They're building a second power plant as we speak, right next to the first one. According to Alliant, we heard that this one plant will take about 30 acres, 20 acres for the plant and 30 for, or 10 more surrounding. So 30 acres for the plant. They're purchasing an option, they haven't done it yet that we're aware, for 160 acres. They have bigger intentions. They don't need to buy 160 acres if they're trying to site a 30-acre plant. In Marshalltown, they didn't need 1,400 acres for one and now two power plants. They have bigger designs that are kept from everyone else.
I would like to mention that besides the one option they have for this 160-acre parcel, there's at least 4 other options that Alliant has gone to other farmers and has in that Morgan Valley area along or just off the county line. And we know that once Lynn County rezones that to heavy industry, it's just going to grow into more heavy industry because the precedent will be there on this county line, and all of that is going to affect Benton County, its farmland, its citizens, and on, as well as Lynn County. So, you know, a foothold in, a toe on the ground, and we know that it will just explode from there, that we could even end up with a data center in that area. I mean, it just, once it goes, it goes. And so we just feel like it needs to be stopped or slowed down and seriously looked at before the foothold happens in this area.
And it's not just this part of Lynn Benton, as you guys all know, Palo. You know, Palo is very close to the Benton County line. 6 data centers are now what's scheduled there. John's saying 18 total. That's 12 or 13 at the airport and 6 at Palo. That QTS is one company at the airport, Google is the other one, and Google is at Palo. When you put 1 million feet under a roof and you want to do that 6 times, it's got to get closer to Benton County. And at some point, it's going to hop the line. They're going to come and say, hey, we want to be on this side. So that's why we're urging you guys to get ahead of it for all of us and at least get some regulation in place. I understand it's a complicated situation with all kinds of legal aspects, but that's why we're here talking to you, because we need that help.
I think it's also worth mentioning, many of the routes that we're trying to understand, they seem to be far more ahead of us than we realize. You know, I'm on day number 8 in knowing and understanding this. I think 10 days has went by since it's been brought to my attention for the meeting, and I've done a lot of research. I'm not finding a lot of answers that are helpful, but it seems to be that a lot of things have been happening that make it harder for us to stand up and object. In Lynn County, we're struggling a lot to even be able to object on some of this stuff. I don't understand any of the process and how this works. I just know it's in my backyard, and I know that I'm trying really hard to do things about it and talk to people and get in front of elected officials, and that's not an easy thing. And the elected officials that I've been in front of are not giving me information that's making me feel as if we have anything to go with. Things are just moving at light speed, and I'm trying to learn the process, and at the same time try to fight it or get my own opinion and the opinion of our neighbors across, and it's a very difficult thing for us right now.
I'm gonna come up here just because my voice is kind of going, I can't really talk real loud, I would try to. My name is Cindy Anderson. I do live in Fairfax, and when I heard that proposed site was gonna be on the Lynn Benton line, or when Lynn County was working on their ordinance to do a 2.25 mile setback, you look at a map and you do 2.25 mile setback and boom, that's the only place it can go. I don't know if it was the Kirkwood meeting or the meeting that they came to, Fairfax Council meeting, they said that the EMS was going to be Atkins. They hadn't even talked to them. I don't know if anyone on the Atkins City Council, city staff, anything, I don't know if anybody has been talked to. What about your public health? Has anybody talked to the Benton County Public Health? These things are important, and the line is skipping over every step that to all of us seems like should have happened first. It's very concerning that none of the Benton County residents who live right there were even taken into consideration. It's very concerning that it appears that you guys weren't discussed. No one said, hey, we want to do this. It's going to affect your county. But if we don't tell you, then maybe we can slip it in. I find the process that Alliance is using suspicious. They're already at the point of the Iowa Utilities Commission. It is in their hands. Alliant has not less than 30 days from March 23rd to file their application. That is their formal application to get this started. If Benton County Supervisors don't take action, the only way we can do anything is for all of us to submit paperwork through the Iowa Utilities Commission electronic filing system. That is our only evidence. That's the only thing that they can count. We had a meeting on the 23rd and hundreds of people showed up, but ultimately our voices weren't recorded. They can't be taken as evidence. And does it matter? It matters. I'm here to tell you today that it matters. I went through this in Fairfax. They wanted it in our backyard. And the airport had a lot to do with it because we're really close. I can't imagine that county residents want it any more than a town resident. I don't know if people in Atkins, if they really understand how close this will be to them. If they understand the impacts. Benton County will get zero from this. But yet they want your EMS to be their first responders. This isn't about people. This is about a large corporation looking to their future, and they will tell you that it's for their customers. But if you look at the rural people, they're not their customers. But those are the ones that are affected. So I urge you to dig deep, think, and do what you can to protect all of us. Because ultimately, we have to live with it. They get to go away onto another county, another state. So please, take to heart what people say. Look at the data. As far as I can tell, they've done no studies. There's no water study, no energy study. They haven't even talked to the public health. Everything seems backwards, so please do what you can. Thank you.
City of Atkins, I see we have the administrator and the councilman. I hear 2 cents from you.
Thank you for inviting me. I was actually just going to come up. That's a very difficult act to follow, so you do a very nice job articulating a lot of the concerns. apologize for my cold, but Atkins mentioned many times in terms of the outreach that Alliant has made or has not made to the city of Atkins. I think, like some of you, I watched your previous Board of Supervisors meeting. I understood you learned for the first time some of these particulars, Tracy, at that meeting on the 23rd, which I also attended. I had gotten a copy of, I think, what I would describe as just a boilerplate invitation to attend that meeting on the 23rd that went out probably to hundreds of other people, so it's certainly not particularized to Atkins in any way whatsoever. That was not preceded by any sort of verbal conversations giving us any insight as to what the project was or the need for the project. Anything that we might be able to better understand what the project was and what the need for the project was. So like some of you, I attended that meeting and learned for the very first time where the project was located. And I was shocked. We had, I think early on, news reports kind of were a bit aloof in the description of where the location would be, somewhere in this general area. But again, I was very surprised to learn where the location was, and surprised to understand that it doesn't appear that there's been much reach out to many of the other municipalities or Benton County as well. So we did, I extend an invitation to representatives from Alliant to attend an upcoming city council meeting for Atkins. As I said, our growth projections are in the southeast area of our community, which is directed right towards this particular location. So we have some concern about that and how a power plant might impact the ability for our community to grow in that direction. Not aware of any fringe development plans that are entered into between Atkins and the county or Lynn County or vice versa. So we did extend that invitation to representatives of Alliant, and essentially at this point they put, from what has been communicated to me, at least in terms of my city council meeting, they put that on pause. So the invitation still holds today. We'd love to have them come to an Atkins City Council meeting so that the mayor and council could be better informed as to what the need for a power plant is and understand ways that they could be more responsive to citizens in Atkins and their questions and concerns, because we've gotten a lot of them. So again, at this point, that invitation is on pause. So I do not know when we might get that opportunity. So, yeah, that's all I have. So if anybody has any questions for me. But, I think that we just appreciate the opportunity to get your input on it as well. I think Alliant is obviously an extremely large company. And I think for a smaller community like Fairfax or Atkins to attempt to take them on legally, that's a tall ask. We would just like to best understand what the need for the power plant is, why the location determination was made there, and probably not real happy about the lack of prior communication. As late as I believe the 23rd, I had talked with someone from Alliant, and they could not tell me the location. I asked where it's a location, can't tell me the location. Come to the meeting, find out. Okay. I said, I understood you were looking like 30 acres in Fairfax or something like that. What was the need for the additional 160 on the option? Come to the meeting. Couldn't get anything on that. And just a variety of those questions. So I did any effort I made to try to understand it prior to that information being on the 23rd. There was not much there.
I have a quick question for you. Time is of the essence here. And if Atkins sits back and waits for them to come to you, the only information that they will give you is that presentation. You can look at the Fairfax City Council meeting. They weren't even answering the council questions, and a copy of that deck has been provided. So based on the information that you collected or the research, can Atkins go ahead and have a special meeting and state a position on this project? Because then the community can be alerted, get the ball rolling. And if not, how can we still work with you guys on getting the word out in Atkins? Because I agree, I mean, how do we do that without even the city council?
Yeah, well, I think the word is out. There's definitely the word is out.
So are people contacting your office?
Oh, yes, we've had many contacts.
Okay, so how else can we, I guess we need to have a conversation about how our group can work with the people, you know, in Atkins. Who are those leaders? Who are those, you know, those types of things.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious on when is Atkins gonna take a position? Because if you wait for Alliant, we know you're not gonna get very far, and they have the advantage to putting you off, right? I mean, like, same happened here. So I'm just wondering, we're all very stressed about that, and just even reaching out to the other cities and just saying, you know, what do you guys know, helping to educate them. I mean, we can go to those council meetings too, but yeah, we've been supporters and done a lot for the Atkins community. I mean, that's like kind of our second home. So I just really want to know what the plans are instead of kind of like the sitting in wait mode.
Yeah, so I would say at this point, our next regular meeting is April 14th, which is in this window of opportunity for us to make a comment, if we wish to, as a political subdivision of the state of Iowa. The city of Atkins may or may not do that. But I would anticipate probably at that meeting, we'd have some conversation about this and taking a statement on it. Once again, I will reach back out to Alliant and give them another opportunity to participate in a council meeting where they can inform the mayor and council about their plans and the need for them. And I think at some point, we just have to make a decision based on what you do know or don't know. And it will be left, if they wish to leave it in the hands of elected officials based on making decisions on what they don't know, well, then that's a risky proposition.
Would you consider a special meeting to push it up? I mean, that's halfway through April. I mean, that's just a suggestion.
Yeah,
I
think I would say this, if it were to accommodate a schedule of Alliant, if they said we cannot be there on the 14th, but we could be there on the 7th, well, I think the council and mayor would probably be favorable to accommodate that.
Okay, again, it's just a sense of urgency because they've been working on this for how long, and it's just a way to pull the people together. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, we do wish there was a little more information sharing throughout the process, but it just is not that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just have a question for Atkins and Benton County. I'm not sure how to ask this or if it's a question you want or even know the answer to, but my question is, how do you, can you, and I think will you is a question I'm not going to answer, but how do you guys engage with the IUC? As a homeowner, the only thing I can do is put a comment or an objection into the IUC's website. Is it different for you guys, or is that you guys just submit on behalf of Benton County or Atkins?
I don't know that the process is any different, really. I think whether we passed a resolution opposing it or whatever, it would be the same kind of comment that any citizen could make. So, okay.
But would the Benton County attorney have a method of communication to the IUC attorneys for additional questions on the process that would get better answers than just us trying to submit comments through the website?
I have not dealt personally since when I'm here with the Iowa Utilities Commission, and so I'm unfamiliar with their procedures and process. So I would have to look it up to even see that, because to see what's even possible. Because if they're an administrative entity, which it sounds like they are, they have their own separate rules than Iowa statutes that would have to even look up to. The possibilities are, per se.
They're quasi-political, so they have their own rules and regulations, but it is covered in Iowa statutes.
Right, under the Act code, and they prior references to Iowa code in certain situations.
Right. Yep. To the point of
Atkins having informational session that Alliant has declined at the moment to come to. Iowa code uses this 10-mile impact zone from the site. If you go 10 miles from that corner into Benton County, you include a lot of people. It's not just the city of Atkins. I suggest that Benton County needs to do something potentially to get more information to their citizens regarding this, because I don't know what the population is. If I took a 10-mile circle out of that part of Benton County, but it's a lot of people, I know. So Benton County potentially needs to do something a little more. And maybe Benton County needs to try to get Alliant to have some sort of input on this. My guess is they're going to do the same thing that they're doing with Atkins. What we keep hearing, they say that yes, we're going to cooperate and we're going to do studies and we're going to communicate with people. And then it's always a caveat at the end, which we are going to do, we're going to follow the law, which equates to we're going to do minimal just to satisfy the law. Well, the law in this case doesn't require a lot of things that seem to be common sense to us as citizens. So we need additional research and pushback potentially from legal avenues, because the law isn't clear on some of this. And Alliant, they've done this many times. So they know exactly what the minimal standard is. And they're not going to tell you that they're following the minimal standard, but ultimately that's what they're going to do. If these things come to court, it's always about literally the letter of the law in the court. It's not about whether I said I was going to be a good community steward and I was going to do these studies. I'll do the studies, and I'll give them to you after the plant is built, potentially, for certain studies. There are certain studies that maybe need to be done first, but a lot of the studies that people are talking about, I don't think there is an actual requirement for them to produce. John, do you have something more to say?
The one thing I want to mention is what ends up happening in a situation like this, they put an application into the Iowa Utility Commission. And then the Utility Commission decides if there's going to be a hearing. If there's a hearing, then everyone can become an intervener. An intervener functions just like an attorney. You can have expert witnesses, you can interrogate other witnesses, and that's what the IUC will use to make a decision on this. Everything that happens in that hearing and all the public comments. So if a city like Atkins wants to be an intervener, you can do that.
I'm coming here so you can see me a little bit better and I can see you. We're all trying to be really polite here. But the reality is, don't you, as the supervisors of Benton County, feel outraged, maybe disgust, maybe like, hey, we're good neighbors. And you're not being treated like that. This is things that are going to affect your citizens, maybe affect you personally. And the letter of the law says we only have to notify Lynn County. But this is going to affect Benton County, and you're being left out of the process. I mean, all of us in here, we're being polite, but yes, we're holding anger and outrage that this is not how neighbors and people, we're all citizens of Iowa. You know, we have the Iowa, kind of the Iowa pride, and yet that's not how we're being treated here. I mean, we know the parent company of Alliant is based in Wisconsin, so what do they care? And that Benton County doesn't get to be treated like the whatever, the poor relation, the one that doesn't count. And Lynn County, because it's got Cedar Rapids and because of their big development, I want you guys to also, where's the outrage and the fact that we're being forced to move quickly and all of this is dumped in our lap, and Alliant, the corporations, as we know, businesses, they run it, and then we get to come up and prove that what they're doing is not right or maybe needs to be rethought. And this is how our country works. This is what the power we've given corporations. But I'd like you to just tap into your outrage. You're the supervisors of Benton County, and you had to go in search of this, and your citizens and the people of your county are at risk here and have not been notified, have not been given the proper respect that's due. Any power plant, it should be a radius from the plant of who gets to be notified, not a county line or a city boundary. So I guess I just want to say to you guys, reach into that we're all here being polite, and I'm trying to be polite, and yet also we're all holding on to the anger and the outrage of how we and our county and our community is being treated. So I just wanted to just tap into that, how are you guys being treated? You're the supervisors of Benton County. You're not less than any other county. You're not less than Lynn County. And yet you weren't notified. You weren't there to be able to help and support your people and get input on this project that affects your county, your land, your farmland, all of us. So, thank you.
I just have one quick thing, a question for you guys. After listening to all these comments, I would like to hear from you guys, what you guys feel.
Give me a minute, all right. Andrew, you want to add to anything that's gone on here in the last 10 days?
Yeah, so I attended the meeting. Again, I didn't hear anything about it until it was last minute. I'm kind of trying to play catch up with everything as well. I'm Andrea Morris. I work for the Environmental Health Land Use Department. I've kind of looked at the meetings from Lynn County Supervisors just to see what they were working on. I know in the meeting on the 23rd of the line, they said that the data center or the power plant wasn't being built for the data center, but one of the Lynn County Supervisors explicitly said that it was for the data centers. I've been reviewing the ordinance for Lynn County, and one of the things that I was concerned about, and I've kind of been talking with people is that right now Atkins is just 1.9 miles away from this power plant, which goes against the Lynn County ordinance of at least having 2.25. And so my concern is that if you're enforcing that ordinance for their cities, why are they not enforcing it for our cities? And I think we've talked too about potentially doing an ordinance for Benton County just to be able to protect us. The concern with that is that, again, that's not in our county. So I don't know if we have any jurisdiction being able to enforce a Benton County ordinance for a Lynn County power plant. We have been trying to learn more about the process. I did get a number from Alliant. It was a 1-800 number, so you know how much they're willing to cooperate. But I am going to be contacting them and kind of getting more information. I know the IUC said that citizens do not have access to whatever the DNR investigation is going to be, and at least on behalf of Benton County, I'd like to be able to be part of that investigation, or at least be knowledgeable of that investigation for us to understand what the impact in our nearby community is going to be.
The impact zone, according to the EPA, is 3 miles. They don't have a specific rule, but that's what they use as their base for the immediate impact zone. The state of Iowa uses an overall impact zone of 10 miles. Lynn County, in drafting the ordinance, was trying to get something more than the 2.25 they eventually settled on. Because in political circles, obviously, they're getting pressure from Alliant and other communities in Cedar Rapids. So they ended up at the 2.25 because the Lynn County Health Department, through analysis that we're not really privy to, decided that that was the immediate impact zone in Lynn County. That's not to say that that really is. Now, why does the EPA say 3? Why does Iowa say 10 if it's 2.25? None of those took prevailing winds into account. So obviously, a 2.25 mile setback as a circle doesn't really effectively regulate a plant that's sitting where 70% of the time emissions are going one single direction and 30% of the time they're going the other direction And then at various odd times, they're going elsewhere. That adds up to a little more than 100%, but you get my point. So Iowa State has studies going all the way back to the 1970s on the winds at any location in Iowa. So that data is available, and that data, when you overlay that data on top of this site, it turns out, as I said, it's just a horrible pick. You don't put a site like this adjacent to communities in Iowa when you put them to the south-southwest or the north-northwest of any community. And that's exactly what's happened here. In my conversations with Alliant has literally said, the reason that we picked this site is because we have a willing landowner. So it's not about this is the best site for any particular reason other than if we can get it there. And we don't have to worry about Benton County because we're 30 feet away from it.
I think it's brilliant to go back to Lynn County and ask the supervisors to amend the ordinance, because no application has been made by Alliant Energy yet. And it's 2.25, regardless of whether it's in another county or not. That would be a good first step. That's a really outstanding idea right there.
I attended the meeting. Andrea was with me. And of course, as for being upset, yeah, I'm not happy. It's not being a good neighbor, I think. I have some things in my mind that I want to try. I don't want to let them out because I feel like the meeting I attended with Alliant Energy, they weren't forthcoming. So I kind of feel, since we have a camera right here, plus it's not going out on YouTube, I don't want to be forthcoming on my thoughts, but I want to try. Haven't talked to these two guys yet much about, they kind of know. I give a quick overview of the meeting last week, and we haven't really discussed anything about this. My phone rings off the wall. I think during the meeting, I think I had 3 calls now from YouTube. I don't want to get into that right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's things I want to try, want to do, discuss with our county attorney, and see where it falls. But as for the public, I left that docket number home. Maybe Jan, do you have it? 222, whatever it is.
GCU 2026-0002.
Yes, that's it.
Sorry.
I mean, for the public out there, send them an email. Sit at home and send them an email. It don't have to be very long. Just, I'm like you. Haven't seen any report on the pollution that it'll create. I'd like to see that. Any studies they've done. None of that was presented at the meeting. Gas line, I did ask about that. Where's the natural gas line going to come from to supply the plant? Wasn't decided yet, what I was told. There's too many questions here to give them a green light. Even though it's across the county line, it's hard for us, 3 guys sitting here, because it's across the line. But to me, it's just being a good neighbor if we could have worked together. But this is where I'm at. I've got some things in my mind I want to try. Whether they're not kosher, I don't know, but we'll find out, won't we?
City attorney doesn't want to hear that. Our county attorney.
I guess I feel fortunate that I am in the completely opposite corner of where this is at. But I would say that we've had other situations like this before. And I would ask that the supervisors be proactive on this and don't wait and backpedal like we like to do in government and do the slow roll, because these companies will roll over top of you. So I would say you need to do something last night. So I guess as a Benton County citizen, I say, get moving.
We will.
And I don't give you those very often.
Okay, okay.
Can I make one more comment?
Sure.
I appreciate your statement of getting on there and making the email. I think the Iowa Utilities Commission, though, that is the only place that any of our voices are heard. And the more that you guys and anybody, any elected official, city official, anybody can just kind of reiterate that. We appreciate you having ideas that fighting for all of us and even us across the county line. Thank you for that. But I submitted mine. Mine was a 4-page document. I think you can see everyone's, if you make an account through them, you can see everyone's complaints. I would urge anybody to just make the account at minimum, look at what the complaints are, because you probably have in your mind the things that you're upset about. See if someone else has put it into words that maybe ask the questions of the IUC a little bit better. Something that you can kind of put into your own words or have ideas, right? But we need to get those complaints on there, and there needs to be more than there is now.
And it has to go on the electronic filing system to be public record, isn't that correct?
Right.
Yeah. And
That's really key.
And it's not an easy process. You can't just send an email like you suggested. You literally have to go on and create an account. And then, once you have the account, you have to log in with that account and you have to file your question or your comment with the docket number. Otherwise, you won't be heard. You'll think you were heard, but you won't, because the letter of the law or the letter of their rules is that you only do it a certain way, otherwise it doesn't matter what you say. Kind of like everything that was said at the 23rd meeting, all those things that you heard, none of that's on record, none of that matters, literally, to anybody.
To be aware, you can sign up so you get notifications. So every time there's a comment, you get an email about it. When they file their application, you get an email.
Could you tell me that document number? Because I could put a plug in the minutes.
Sure, it's GCU 2026-0002.
Okay, thank you. I'll put it in the minutes with something about the IUC.
And they are correct on there. If you call the Iowa Utilities Commission, you will get their help desk, and they literally will walk it through you to get you signed up, create your account. They are very, very helpful. But as he said, you have to file it, and file more than one. If this is the evidence that the three-panel commission will look at to make their determination to award or not award Alliant their application. So that's our only voice, is to be online.
Then Jan, and like you, John?
Yeah.
If you guys would actually head up, people that could come or, to do an email, like elderly people can't do an email or something like that. If you could kind of form a committee or whatever.
We have clear sheets about our group. We have a Facebook page. Where there's, I don't know if we're getting close to 200, we're like in the 160s. There's an email people can use. So it's a matter of, part of our goal is to get people online to make comments, give evidence, but it isn't an easy process. And a lot of, people aren't online. So I think it's like, or even helping them do that process. So we have lots of ideas about how we can facilitate. We need to find out what the rules are for like having information tables or events in the towns, or even how the cities can help us with that, or where we can even, can we leave some of these sheets here so people can see it? I don't know what those rules are. I think we're just getting started. We're just having our second meeting of the group.
I think it's important to let you guys know that we are, as a community, moving as fast as we can as people that have jobs and have other priorities and families. But we are moving as absolute fast as we can to not only have a group that will help with this, which that is on our things to talk about this evening, get people aware. We're trying to work at all angles. So we are, I think that all things considered, we are doing the absolute best that we can, but we have a reasonable amount of people. We will be getting as organized as possible moving forward. But that is one thing that we do plan to do. So maybe we'll get a little bit more information together tonight and try to maybe provide you guys and other governing bodies or elected officials information about if people are reaching out to you that need help, we are happy to help them.
There has been indication from the IUC that there is a method where you can use snail mail, because I know there's a lot of people in Benton County and Lynn County that aren't comfortable going on a website and getting an account and doing all that stuff. We don't know, we don't have the exact specifics from the IUC as how you can do that. In your letter, your snail mail letter, you still have to reference that document for it to be included. But we're trying to get more information on what that snail mail process would be, because I know there's a lot of people that would potentially rather do that than use the website.
And they will not take phone calls. You cannot call in with your complaint.
No, I know that.
And be aware that there's an Office of Consumer Advocacy associated with the Iowa Utilities Commission, and they have one objective, and that's to help citizens' voices be heard. So don't hesitate to work with them. They're a very good organization.
Okay. Now, you all came here today and we appreciate it very much, and you've expressed all your concerns to the three of us. I would also urge you to reach out to your state representative. Emails, phone calls, they take phone calls, and you're gonna get a form letter back from them, but they will respond to you. I've done it on numerous, I got escorted off the House floor one time, so I'm telling you, they do listen to you. So I would urge you all to contact your state representatives as well, because if they don't hear from you, they don't know about it. Even though they do, if you don't say something, they're not gonna react. So we need to get that information to them as well. And I'll do my part. I'll contact all of them. I don't have a problem doing it. I do it all the time. So I would urge you to do that as well. And as far as what we can do, I'll do everything that I can to make sure that everybody that needs to know, knows. And to try to see what we can do to help out.
I did want to ask, I know you can't give specifics, but in Iowa, I mean, this can't be the first time that one county has tried to, do something that is damaging to a neighboring county. Are there things in place? Is there something in the state that then the counties can go to and, mediate, reconcile their differences, come together? I mean, is there something, we can't be the first time that there's been something like this over the county line, but over the years that Iowa has been a state and had this form, or is there just no way the counties have to try to reconcile their own differences, or they just basically do things that damage each other and nobody cares? I mean, I'm asking not for specifics, but is there something that you can go to if Lynn County is not amenable to kind of coming together? Is there a process? Okay, we can't talk about it together, but we bring a mediator or something in. Like, is there a process in place, or it's just everybody gets to do what they want and the counties are not working together? Or is there some place we can go to the state and say, you need to come down here and help this be worked out between counties? Just ask. I don't know this process. We figured there might be, that there has to be conflicts between counties, given that Iowa has 99 of them.
The state has a push currently where they want counties to work with each other on different things that are going on, whether it's secondary roads or shared services, whatever. This seems to me like it would be a good place for us to do that.
So is there some place in the state we can say, like, hey, maybe you want to, kind of get these guys in a room and point to that, or like some, in the state or an office or agency in the state that
Isn't there some specific rules in Iowa statutes regarding fringe boundaries between counties? Because this does, she's right, it didn't just happen to this one. This has been happening for 100 years, where something on a line ends up being the fringe boundary conditions, and I've been told there's some special rules, but I'm not the expert. Can you speak to that? You were going to say, John, I cut you off. You were going to say something about that.
That's okay. Of course, I shouldn't have said first. one of the assistant county attorneys. And you kind of probably heard through some of our early stuff today, there's only so much we can do property-wise because some of it infringes on property owners, which is outside county jurisdiction. So like, before I go and answer your question, which is simply like, I'm in the process of researching because it's a very unique area and I'm trying to figure out how to best figure out an answer to that question. So it might take me some time, and once I know, then of course I can advise the supervisors what the county options are. My other question is has the group seek even, or anybody in the group seek private representation as well?
We're working on it. If you have any suggestions, that would be helpful. We are willing to band together
And see, that is probably my next point, is because like you probably heard earlier today when we were talking about the fence line and all that good stuff. That infringes on property, private property ownership. And so like there's certain avenues open to private ownership, obviously not open to public entities as well. So you should at least find someone who's willing to work with you to give you advice on or counsel you on routes that you could probably take, either as a group or as individuals. So I would really highly suggest that, because there's only so much I can even provide outside, within my scope of my duties. But I tried researching it a little bit this morning, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a big project to try to figure out, because there might be some overlap stuff that I have to work through and stuff. But once I do, I keep in contact with these guys and can figure out if there's whether there's an option and what route that can be. So, all right? Okay. That's all I can really say right now.
To your one, not this topic, but to your one about the fence earlier, 359A and, one property owner compelling the other that's pretty clear in there. That's a state level, that's not you guys. And then the other thing is hostile possession is a different part of the Iowa code that is gonna, I think, sounds to me like would potentially be part of their property line disputes, but.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that. I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Just a final question. It sounds like, in general, Benton County is not in favor of this power plant. Is that something that you have enough information for, that there could be any type of official position out there? Or are you guys you have a problem with the power plant being built right now because they haven't provided enough information for you to make a decision?
As of right now, I'm against it. I'm not for it at all.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
That's me.
I can tell you, I've talked to hundreds of people in Benton County, and 100% are against it. But listen to your constituents.
Well, I don't think that the land has read the room, and I don't think they care.
I agree.
To be honest with you.
Yep.
But this is going to be a battle. And I know what side I'm on. I'm on the side of you guys and Tracy and everyone else. So. But what we can do and where we have to go from here, that's what we have to figure out. Legally.
I believe this is absolutely right there. And I also believe you've said it several times, I don't know your name, sir.
Jay Hopkins.
Okay, Mr. Hopkins. The meeting everybody attended, from my understanding, at some point in the meeting, somebody from the Iowa Utility Board gets up and says they have met that was part of the process.
Exactly.
So you can bet Reliant Energy knows the process they have to follow, and as you stated several times, they will follow it to the letter of the law. Is it right or wrong? They're going to follow it to the letter of the law. And I too am against this. If it was being built somewhere where there's not a town within 10 miles, it's a good place. But basically, 1.9 miles from one of our representatives, about 4.
1.7.
1.7, it's close. Be interesting to see his take.
Okay, well, I think we discussed it pretty good today. We got to hear everybody's opinion on it. So we'll all take an advisement, and I think just maybe sit back and see what we do here in the next week or two.
What we try.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's incredible. I'm sorry, it's really
Good.
Shelley, it looks like a volunteer project for somebody who's there. I'm trying to get her to take something, but she won't do it.
Do a lot of volunteer work, just not your volunteer work.
Are you telling me you're looking for a paying gig?
No, I am not.
Let's see, for just
If
retired.
I was looking for a paying gig, I'd take yours.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, get back at this. Reports, gentlemen.
I had 2 meetings last week, and I kept my doctor's appointments, and I never made a meeting. I slept through every one of them. We'll say I was ill.
Okay.
I had the Heartland Insurance Pool, risk pool meeting last Thursday. As always, they're very, very interesting. We've got some events coming up. And I've sent a message to you guys regarding the training that we have to do every year, harassment prevention training. We do it in-house, and the pool is fine with that. They said they've signed off on that training, and we're currently the only county in the pool that's doing that. So if they're on board, if we want to continue to do it, if Ray wants to, then it'll. The contract that the Heartland Pool had was not with Brent's group, it was with him personally, so it doesn't affect anything.
Oh, so we still get rent.
We still get rent. Yeah, we still have, we're contracted specifically with him. So, and then as far as the return to work program, Brent had, he presented all of us a rather thick return to work program that I forwarded on to you guys to take a peek at so that we can develop. So that's some of the highlights of what that was all about. And I also was supposed to have attended a historical preservation meeting Thursday night. My son called me and invited us over for dinner to see my grandson, and I was like the dog and the squirrel. My attention got focused on that, and I forgot about the meeting. So I apologize to the preservation group for that. But that's what I had.
Okay, I had EMF Zoom meeting with Derek on Wednesday. I think that went rather well. Got a lot of information here this week already. And I also had Eastern Iowa Trust Fund and EasyCog on Thursday. And then Karen, our gal that was in charge of EasyCog, will retire here in April, and the new gal will take over. Last night I had the EMA Association at the Sheriff's Office. They will, this is another one, it's going to be fun. Dwayne Arnold used to take care of all the hazmat materials, the clothes, the gloves, the face, the mask, the boots, in case something happened. Okay, Dwayne Arnold housed that all, they were the warehouse and distributor for the 5 counties around Dwayne Arnold in this area. All right, the new Dwayne Arnold that's gonna be up and running does not wanna be a distributor, does not wanna be a warehouse. They want Benton County to be.
And where is that gonna go?
Yeah. It has to be a heated building to store all this stuff. Now, he's having a meeting right now as we speak with Dwayne Arnold and the company that supplies the gloves and the whole ball of wax. Because Dean could not last night tell me how big a room, 1-stall garage, 2-stall garage, Morton building. So that's something that we'll have to be looking at down the road. Some kind of building, you know.
If they're willing to participate financially though, what's their commitment on that?
The building, whatever building we figure out where to put this stuff in is our baby. We'll have to flip the bill for that. As for the materials that they need, the gloves and the gowns and all that, it's gonna be a pass-through. Benton County will get the invoice from the distributor. Haley will pay that. And then the bill will be sent to Dwayne Arnold for reimbursement.
So it's not going through the EMA, it's gonna come through the actual county?
I think it's going through EMA.
Okay,
I
so that's
think.
his budget, that's not
Okay.
in ours.
Yes. Yeah.
So did they talk about insurance on all that stuff? Or
No.
'Cause I mean, if there's content, we would want it insured.
No. We'll see what they're hoping is for the weed building.
Is that climate control bill?
Yes, that furnace in it.
Okay. Because I know when we just had Curdy move stuff from the old school building, or McDowell, out there was some old, like those mass
Okay.
casualty things and bags, but they were so outdated and stuff,
Yeah.
we got rid of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be an option, if that would be out, would be convenient at Kirby's.
Brings me to another question. Let's say we put this warehouse and use that building, what are we gonna do with these buildings?
I know, see, that's what I said right away, that too. I don't wanna go there. To me, like I said, I wanna find out how much space they gotta have. And then last night after the meeting, I drove around northeast of the courthouse. You know, I thought there is enough room, 2 places. One, you could maybe put it in the sheriff impound lot, you know, a chain link fence, one place. Or the other one's right across the road where the small garage is for maintenance. Where the dumpster is, the recycling there.
But then the assessor parks the van and things in there too.
Yeah, well, see, last night there was only the red pickup there from the maintenance guys. So like I said, I don't know how much area they want. I know he wants it big enough to put his pickup in. I still think I can work with the sheriff's department to get a different door in the machine, or the Morton building. Open, you know, cut the header out, put a taller door in and get that EMA pickup in there. Because right now it's in there, but sooner or later this TAC 1 vehicle is gonna show up. And when that shows up, EMA's pickup's going out outside. And that's too new and too nice of a pickup to sit outside the elements. So I haven't talked to the sheriff yet. I was told they still got both them boats. You know what I mean? They got a new boat with,
ARPA money?
yes, ARPA money. So to me, the second one, summertime, let's get rid of it. So that would free up a space there for maybe a pickup. But like I said, hearsay,
Yeah.
did not see it
As
with
long as
my
I don't have
eyes.
to put that spending authority in
Can I
this
ask a question
budget.
about that?
Yes.
So who's gonna be keeping track of everything in the warehouse? Like I said, that is something that's gonna be
That's
used
gonna
all the
be,
time.
that's gonna be, Dean.
So he's gonna be responsible for having to keep track of however long.
Yes.
If it's PPE, like that has to be
Yes.
rotated.
Yes.
Otherwise it
That's
expires.
it. Yep,
All of that is,
that's all his. Because all these other counties, Lynn County, Buchanan County, Blackhawk County, they're gonna come here to get their stuff.
Okay, and we wouldn't have to go out and distribute stuff.
No, they come to us. We're gonna be the warehouse.
Tracy, I have a question about that. I understand that Dwayne Arnold doesn't want to do it, but who's required to do it? What does the NRC say about that?
That I do not know.
We shouldn't just take their word for it.
That I don't know. I did not sit on that meeting.
Because that's a lot of money for the county just to say, oh, okay, we'll do it.
I mean, it's a pass-through, you know what I mean? It's not gonna count for the material wise, it ain't gonna cost the county nothing.
No, but it's gonna cost building,
If we do a building.
upkeep,
Yep,
and personnel.
yep.
So, and that's your most expensive right there. It's not this, well,
Personnel
potentially.
should be the same. That won't be no different.
But if they're doing that job, what are they not doing in Benton County?
So why don't you offer storage at the airport and charge them $100,000 every day?
I think that's a good
Problem
idea.
solved. I like that.
Wheels are turning, right?
That's how stuff gets done.
So, Alliant is still involved with, Dwayne Arnold. They still have 30%, I think, ownership. They sold 70%? No? They're not at all?
Again, the customers had to pay $170 million for them to buy out of their purchase agreement. NextEra is the owner.
Yes, but
And
NextEra
as
is
far
a
as buying-
subsidiary.
No, NextEra is the owner of the nuclear plant. And Citgo owns 20% of the energy produced. Google gets the remaining 80%. That's how that's set up.
Okay,
20% will be,
Yeah, check your records. I think
Well,
I'm
it's not
pretty
my
accurate.
records, it's my inside of Alliant that's telling me that they still have a piece of it. Anyway, my point was potentially you still have a year, through a different vein on. Because they want Benton County to do something.
Okay, last but not least, the ASAC rooms are done now. I'm gonna meet with the gals at 1 o'clock, if we're out of here by then. And last but not least, EMS would like to have a meeting with us three sometime, 3 transports. So, just throwing it out there, so when you get,
In addition to the regular advisory council?
yeah, just us 3 and the 3 transports. Yeah, so when they decide when they can do it and when we can do it, you'll get notified and then we can have it happen. Okay? You gentlemen know that.
Okay.
Okay?
Assuming that'll be at nighttime, because they all have jobs.
Yes, I would say so. Doug, nothing?
Nope.
Anybody else?
I said enough.
Perfect. Motion adjourned?
I'm going to adjourn.
Second.
All right, call for a vote.
Tippit, aye.
Steve and I, we are done.
You're awful quiet over there, Jess.
Thank you.
What?
You're awful quiet.
I am.
You know what?